All right, today we're going over the exercises you need to program if you're serious about building muscle, but not just what to do, more importantly, how to do it. Let's get after it. So I saw a recent video on this, and my first thought was, somebody buy that man a shirt. And then my second thought was, that's the opposite of what I think. So I definitely need to make a video on it because it was lacking context. I think the most important thing is how you do these specific exercises, not just what you should do, and give people the option of doing workouts at home just in case they still live in their mom's basement. So let's break it down body part by body part. All right, let's start with quads because that's the one that people hate the most. Now, for my money, if you have access to it, the absolute ass eater of all exercises is the hack squat. Now, there's two ways you can make it more intense. Well, there's a lot, but my favorite two ways are slowing it down to a complete crawl or doing drop sets. That will make you throw up your juice box right out of your nose. Now, if you're stuck with limited equipment, don't stress. You can still kick your ass at home with squats, but not squats like everybody else does, because I don't think you should ever program an exercise that hits a general area. You always want to be specific with what you're training. So doing high bar squats, feet nice and close, and maybe even put your heels on something to really tear up those quads is the way to go. Next up, hamstrings. And my favorite way to tear them up and make it look like you have some sort of disgusting growth in the back of your leg is with lying leg curls, but done in a very specific way. First, pointing those toes away the entire time. Plantar flexion. And yeah, it's going to jump into those calves, but if you can stomach it, it's going to create even more painful contraction in those hamstrings. Second thing is I like to lift myself off the pad. That just ensures those hips stay down, those glutes can't take over, and the hams are the only thing torquing. But if you have the coordination of a 4-year-old girl and you can't handle both those things at once, at least curl the weight up and hold the top for 5 seconds. That'll tear them up as well. Now, if you're stuck at home, I would still say lying leg curl, just do the dumbbell version. Only problem there is just a matter of time before you drop it and crush one of those oblong-shaped nuts. Now, whether you're at home or the gym, if you're not doing sumos, it's just a matter of time before those farts start leaking out of your ass because they are the absolute best thing to build those glutes. But make sure you're not coming straight up. You actually rotate over top of your hips and you do them the fucking right way. Now, shoulders are pretty complex. So if anybody tells you just do heavy presses, I need you to do your best to squeeze out a fart, cup it in your hand, and feed it to them like an infant because they need to remember this. For anterior delts, you're always going to get a better result from doing raises than you are a press. So if you have access to cables, squeezing across your body to really isolate that head is going to get the job done. If you're stuck at home, then grabbing a little bit lower on a plate and doing a front raise is a lot better than pressing something heavy and chewing down those farts. Never forget. For that lateral head, to me, there's nothing better than machine side laterals, but hitting every variation you could think of back to back to back. Partials at the top, bottom, fulls, just holding the weight will give you that width you're desperately lacking. For the girth, nothing I could do about that. Chodes for life. Best home version is just line up all your wife's colorful dumbbells and do drop set side laterals until they grow. For posterior delts, whether I'm at a regular gym or a hotel gym they said was fully equipped, which is code for we have a treadmill that skips when you walk and a water fountain with paper cups, I still do these, so they must be good. Specifically what they are, just the rotations you would do in an Arnold press, you're doing here, but lying on a bench. Now you could do these with drop sets, but they're hard enough as is. Just do straight sets. You'll hate them. Now for chest, you're never limited by the equipment you have access to. I guarantee we all know somebody that went to jail, came back out with really developed tits and an asshole that whistles in the wind. But for me personally, I've always found the best results from just attacking that chest relentlessly with something like giant sets. So doing a dumbbell press into a coffin press, into a fly, into a push-up until you fall and smash your face. Now, no one can argue with the effectiveness of deadlifts to build that foundation and thickness of your back, but if you go to the gym and pull 4 reps and then look around for somebody to smack you on the ass and tell you good job, you're doing it wrong. You don't truly tap into the effectiveness of this exercise until you get to those extreme rep ranges. Those 20, 30 rep sets, that's where the magic happens. i.e. something's about to blow out of your back when you're driving home and you will gladly shit out your spine, and then you start yelling, who the fuck put this lumbar support in here? Now, when it comes to growing those lats, the most important thing, even more important than the actual exercise itself, is finding things you can do where you keep the elbow in a fixed position. At home, that could be a dumbbell pullover. I do drop sets there. At the gym, I grab a V-bar handle, hit the lat pull down, same thing. Keep the elbow in a fixed position, rotate around that handle, and make sure your lats are actually pulling the weight, not your fucking biceps. Now, the most important thing for arms is having a great connection and pushing a ton of blood. For triceps at home, I'm doing the trifecta, which is a seated French press, a lying skull crusher, and a close grip press. If I have access to cables, then I'm cutting it down and doing partials at the top, the bottom, full range of motion, and then probably some push-ups or attempting to do push-ups. There's no fucking way, though. Now, when it comes to biceps, the best exercise you can do out of your home or out of a van down by the river is just grabbing some dumbbells, tuck them into your stomach, and doing high rep drop sets until those damn things pop. If you're at the gym, I would grab an easy bar attachment, go reverse grip, and then flip those hands over, close grip, wide grip, drag curls. Good fucking luck. If I had to choose one machine for calves, it'd be the seated calf raise because there's so many different variations you can do. You can go toes in, toes out. You can do partials at the top, partials at the bottom. You can do drop sets. You can just sit there and hold the stretch for a while until you throw up. It's phenomenal. That's why I say your best bet if you're stuck at home is mimicking this by squatting all the way down on top of those calves and flexing against those hamstrings until something cramps. Oh my God, traps, you forgot traps. If you need help with traps, you're a lost cause because that's easy. Just grab a barbell, do 100 shrugs, and ice your balls afterwards. After all that, if you still need me to grab you by the foreskin that makes up the majority of your chode and drag you through these workouts, that's why I created programs. They're linked in the description. They're only $20. For you, bud. I made them for people with foreskin. That's basically what I just fucking said. Now, if you need help growing those legs, I'd watch this video next. If you are a diabeto, this is the next video you should watch. But most importantly, subscribe, hit that notification bell, get after it, get growing. Talk to you soon.